Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another video of Destination Truth with your host, Tyler Ward. Hi. Welcome to part 3 of this short series. This one, I wish I could call it simply America is the target, but I don't think most viewers would understand what I mean by that, so I've changed the title. Anyways, guys, this video will set up everything you need to know so that you can understand what's to come in the next videos a little bit better. But the next videos are going to be pretty interesting, and you need to understand this first. So, if you live in the United States, you will undoubtedly be able to understand what I'm talking about a little bit better. And that's because whether you actually cognitively understand it or not, you are being bombarded with an insane amount of propaganda every single day. Literally every single day. Trust me, you are. And you might not know it, but you are. And the reason why is because the United States is in fact the target. Globalist elites have to take down America. They have to take us down. And when I say take us down, obviously what I really mean is to completely socialize us, to retard us mentally, literally bring down the average IQ down to something a little closer to what Africa has probably. Sorry, that's objective reality, by the way. Just because if you actually look into the facts, you'll realize that many countries definitely have different standard deviations of intelligence, and for the entire continent of Africa, it's about 1.5 standard deviations below that of the United States, for example. So, doesn't have to be racist, doesn't have to be anything, unless you're a leftist, and when you even just acknowledge that these facts are real, that means you have to pass legislation according to that. That's not the case. Only a racist would think that way. Okay, so they want to take us down by either socializing us, bringing down our average intelligence so that we're really easily controlled, and or what I think is their true objective is to bring absolute communism to America, totalitarianism at its finest. And a lot of people don't realize that the USSR was in fact their testing grounds for communist ideology. You see, Russia fell to the Bolshevik Revolution, which was a very, very small political party. Less than 9% of the population were considered Bolsheviks. The other 90% were not Bolsheviks. But the country fell for a large number of reasons. One being disorganization, one being that they didn't have a czar anymore, so there was a power vacuum that hadn't quite been taken up yet, and the Bolsheviks were the first ones to use military-type violence to take that, and the Bolsheviks, more than anything, had money. And they were bribing and paying people off to do as they wanted. And you can learn a lot more about this, by the way, in a number of different books. There's a ton of books that'll tell you about all the bribery. And in the city of St. Petersburg, there was an insane number of secret agents from Germany and England and the United States, potentially even. And they were there to bribe Russian soldiers so that when the time came that they were giving an order that was clearly treason, that they would follow it and carry it out to carry out the needed objectives. Okay, so communism's been done. And what you might also not know is that it only took St. Petersburg and Moscow, 2 cities in the world's largest country. Russia's the largest country by... Okay, sorry, my battery ran out. But yeah, so in closing to my point about Russia is that at the time Germany sent Vladimir Lenin with what was literally about $100 million worth of gold on a sealed train that traveled through Europe without opening any of its doors. I think it had to refuel once in like somewhere in like Belarus or something. I don't know. But you can Wikipedia this stuff, guys. The sealed train to Russia, or Vladimir Lenin's sealed train, as well as you can look into things about how Leon Trotsky got to Russia, because he had been banished from the country, and he was living in New York with some of these New York communists, which are the global elitists, and they sent him through Canada, where he was arrested, and we know for sure that he had something like $20,000 on him at the time, which was seized by the Canadians, which $20,000 is a lot of money back then. And again, the 100 million in gold that Vladimir Lenin had in today's currency would have been easily about, I don't know, 10 billion today. So that's just to give you some perspective of what kind of money these globalists were given so that they could go and take over a country, literally just take it over. Okay. So back to America. The reason why America is the target, the reason why, is not hard to guess. It has everything to do with the fact that America has the absolute, without a doubt, strongest military in the world. Our military is so strong that we could take on a war with Russia and China combined. Not a lot of people know this. Definitely not a lot of people know this. Now, in reality, I would say if we did a war with both of them, I think they would end up winning, because China is a powerhouse of production like America used to be. And at some point in time, if we have a war, China will take our place as will take the place of having world dominance worldwide, and that's because they have the ability to produce so much. So that's one thing that might happen, because the globalists are frustrated with America because they cannot get rid of our guns. And the reason why they need to do that is because in order to control America, they have to control politics. If they take over our government, we're the only country in probably world... Okay, sorry. Another battery just ran out, so I'm on my last battery, but it's full. Okay, so straight to the point. America has an armed populace. It has got the world's largest military, and its people are armed too. Meaning you cannot take it over the way the Bolsheviks did, because the Bolsheviks took over a country that was almost entirely disarmed. The czars did not let the people own firearms, but there were exceptions for hunters and such, but those people lived so far away from the capitals, and there's so few of them, and their weapons so primitive, that it was just, there was no way. So the Bolsheviks took over, and, the Bolsheviks, being communist, to get things done, they needed a slave labor force, and so that's what the gulags were for. So it was a win-win for the Bolshevik communist regime, because you're getting slave labor as well as getting rid of political dissent. So anyone that doesn't agree with you, send them to the gulags. So that's what they want to do in America. But thing is, this is why America is the number one target. America has the world's largest military, once again, and the people are armed, though. So if they overtly try to overthrow our government with a coup of some kind, or a Bolshevik revolution, the people would realize that, and they would rise up, and they would destroy whatever radical part of the government that was taken over. Additionally, the military is largely controlled by people who are right of center, meaning they're not leftist. So to take over this country would be very difficult. But the reason they need to, the reason why a campaign has been used for just years and years and years, is because our military will rule the world. So if they could control the US soldiers and our government would in fact rule the world. And we already do for the most part. I mean, the CFR rules the world from the shadows. Like, they don't do anything too overt. So instead they do things through trade agreements, right? Trade agreements, where in reality they're really not so much about trade, but they're about giving away power to other countries away from the nation state itself. Socializing a country, in other words. So for example, you know, right now, many countries in Europe, as well as Mexico and Canada, these people could actually work in America and then just drive back over the border every single day just to get home, if they wanted to, if they so desired. That's a possibility. And so, I mean, trade agreements don't really help the people of their home country. All they really do is, I mean, they make it so trade is easier. I mean, it does bring down the price of products, so that is the one thing that'll make sure most Americans or most people of their home country approve of them, is because they do typically lead to cheaper products sold in both countries. But yeah, for the most part, trade agreements always help poorer countries, always. They help them more. America has less to gain from them, just to be clear. Okay, moving on. Because the global elites have not been able to overthrow the American government, they've also been trying to get what they want by using a vast number of... Are these turtles? There's some weird things in this pond, big lake. But yeah, so they implement things like the Trilateral Commission and all kinds of weird documents that people don't even agree to, and they don't know what's in them either. But all they really do is socialize, if not communize, countries. And that's probably they're going to be their MO for a long time. Their standard means of operation for a long time. And that's because they can't overthrow America easily, because people aren't crazy and radical enough. Now, they're trying to do that right now. If you just look at the news, like, they're trying to radicalize the left to the point where they might just be willing to lose their minds, risk their life, even kill themselves to basically take America over with communism. And look at the youth right now with how they feel about gun crime. They don't realize that, I mean, if they want to get rid of guns because people kill people with guns, they're going to have to get rid of cars too. Because cars are used more often than guns to kill people. Yeah. I don't want to go too much. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but at the same time, you need to understand America is the target of all globalist elites. The ruling class of the world, they need America right now, because without America, let's say they topple any and every government around the world, which by and large they have. It doesn't matter, because America's government, America's military, if they so desire, they can push back any kind of communist regime right now, because our military is so strong. And so this is one reason why the right, people on the right, although you might think they're just, you know, hillbilly nuts, and you don't understand why they're always for having a large government, there's a very strategic and important reason to have a strong military. And that is because you can defend yourselves against any enemy when you have a strong military. So, guys, if you don't understand why, I hope you do now, that America is the prime target for being socialized or communized worldwide. And that's because we are the main obstacle worldwide for global government. I hope you understand. Please give me a like or a downvote. I don't care. Just, you know, I want to improve my content, guys. I really do. So please help me do that. And, you know, please watch the next video. It'll be a little bit mind-blowing compared to this one.